20 on Monday, May the 3rd. And well, unfortunately, some of our forecast is coming true. So this is the current radar that we're looking at. And as you can see, we have several severe warned storms that are going to head our way eventually. But we'll talk about that. We'll see if we don't want to talk about a doomsday scenario, so to speak, but we will talk about what the possibilities are. So as you can see, these storms currently are along the dry line. If you can kind of make this out, hopefully, this would be Fort Worth. This would be Denton right here. And so you can see that the majority of the storms are west of Dallas-Fort Worth proper, but they are definitely headed our way. So if we put these in motion, you can see not a whole lot going on. You can see that the dry line right here, at least in the start of the frame, and so you can kind of get an idea of what these storms are doing. And of course, as we thought, once they formed, they popped up pretty quick. So that's what we're seeing here. Now, so far as the severe weather reports, we have seen hail. The biggest report I've seen so far is golf ball size. So it's not anything that's it's not giant hail by any means, but it's nothing to mess around with either. But so far, these storms have not produced anything larger than golf ball, and hopefully it'll stay that way. Now, I do want to point out something that we kind of have to root for as we go along through the evening hours. And let me do this real quick. So let me reset. We do have a tornado watch until 11 o'clock. And as you can imagine, not surprising that we have a tornado watch right now because of what's going on. But just wanted to kind of reset that. That's still 11 o'clock. A couple tornadoes. I really don't think we're going to have a big tornado threat in Dallas-Fort Worth. I think that'll mostly be north of Dallas-Fort Worth, northeast into southeast Oklahoma. At least I got my fingers crossed on that one. So anyway, so I think what we're going to have to deal with are these hailers, as we call them sometimes in weather parlance. And so I'm going to zoom out on the radar here just a tad and kind of give you a better idea of what you're seeing in the bigger picture. So as you can tell, this is these thunderstorms have formed along the dry line. We had I don't know if we officially hit 90 degrees yet, but we definitely had a chance to. That's for sure. So that's definitely fueled some of these storms. And of course, this is what you have going. Now, here's where we have to cross our fingers and root for some things to happen to keep these monster hailstorms away from us. So, what we're hoping for is that these storms congeal into a line, and they're already starting to do that a little bit, especially when we zoom in. You'll start to see that. Now, they're still separated. This storm right here, this storm here. And so definitely those are ones we want to watch for sure. But you can already start to see some congealing here. And I think as time goes on, we'll see more of that. And it's actually a good sign. Again, not if you're underneath these storms right now, but it's actually a good sign that we're seeing these more storms pop up. Deborah, 90 degrees at my house. Okay, I don't know. I'd have to check my station. I don't know if I hit 90 at my station or not. So yeah, but it was warm. There's no doubt about that. So again, what we're rooting for with these storms are that well, of course, we want to root for them to go away, but that's just not going to happen. And so what we're trying to hopefully have happen, the next best thing is that these storms form into a line, and that would definitely reduce the hail threat. Now, what will unfortunately potentially happen when we do that is it may form into a line with a damaging wind threat. So that's stuff we're going to have to watch. So when you put this back in motion, we'll kind of zoom back in here on Dallas-Fort Worth. So you can kind of get an idea. A lot of lightning. You can see the lightning strikes there. And as I said earlier today, you definitely see these storms that are popping up pretty quick. And so that is something that we're going to continue to watch. But the good news is, and again, it's a relative thing, but I think that the more storms that we can have form along the line over time will be better. So the further east you are, obviously it's going to give the atmosphere more time to have these storms congeal. And so if we can get more of those storms coming together, then like I said, we'll probably we'll definitely get rid of the tornado threat. Not totally, but for the most part we would. And we would definitely reduce the hail size threat. But again, that's where a damaging wind threat might come more into play. All right, so let me show you the satellite picture because that is an interesting picture to look at if I can get this to work here. Let's see. Let's try this. And there we go. All right. So I'm going to refresh this. And you can tell, again, earlier today, clear skies, and then, of course, boom, you see these thunderstorms. Now, as you can tell, you can definitely tell where the dry line is because it's a very sharp demarcation as to where, you know, the storms are, where the dry line is. Now, you can see back up in the Panhandle area, that's where the actual cold front is. That is moving our way, and it is going to move through. And tomorrow will actually be a lot cooler than today. It's a relative thing. It'll probably be in the 70s, maybe 80. But so as it's kind of a weird setup for us because, you know, typically when we get the dry line moved through, you know, we're kind of done, but we're not going to necessarily be done in this case because we're going to have some elevated instability on top of the front move through overnight, and so we're going to have to watch that. Now, again, that's not going to be a tornado threat, but that would be more of a hail threat, and so hopefully not the big hail, but you know, nobody wants any size hail, that's for sure. Angela, get those storms in line. I'm trying, Angela. I promise, I am trying. They're actually not doing a bad job. I was kind of afraid that they would take forever to do it, so it's actually happening quicker than I thought, which is what some of the models showed, so that's good. So let me zoom back in on the radar here. And let's take a couple of closer looks at some of these storms. And all right, so this storm here has got a little purple in it on the reflectivity. So let's go to the hail indicator. And yeah, not shocking. I got some red in there. Ignore that red up here, but yeah, you're probably talking. Let's see. Yeah, it's a hail rain mix. So that's where we got some of the reports of $50 size hail. I think we had one report of a golf ball. I think most of it's been less than that so far. Hopefully it'll stay that way. So you definitely see, but the hail core is not that big, so that's good. So that's a good sign. So let's scroll on down to these other storms. Again, you may see some smaller hail in this storm. And of course, this is the Fort Worth radar. And again, for reference, downtown Fort Worth. And yes, Angela, Trophy Club is right there. Definitely headed in your general direction. And so we put the hail core mode in motion. And we see, again, the general direction is northeast. Right now, it's a little more just north of northeast. But I think over time, they'll definitely move more northeast and probably more east-northeast as time goes on. Okay, so let's go back to the reflectivity mode here. And, okay, let's zoom back out. Okay, so, again, up in Denton, Wise County, you're starting to see a decent storm cluster there. You do see some development starting to happen just northeast of Weatherford, so that's good news. Again, it's all relative in a way. So we do have this storm. Let's see. Let's not do that. Let's do this. That storm, probably want to keep an eye on that one as long as it's kind of stays to itself. It's not too bad right now, but I think that's where we've had most of our hail reports. So it's something. Yeah, sorry, Angela. I just saw your comment. Yeah, I know. I kind of did it on purpose because I love you. But I'll also say to be weather aware. So that's a storm that, just want to watch. It's, it's nothing to be terribly concerned about right now. So, okay. So let's talk about timing. What's going to happen the rest of the night? Well, I shouldn't say the rest of the night, the rest of the evening. So again, here's what you want to watch for. Again, dry lines right here. And then, so that's, position of the dry line, obviously it's going to be important. Now, I don't know that the dry line will ultimately move through the entire Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. It typically doesn't, but it can. It depends on how much push it has. So you want to watch for the dry line position, and that's where the storms are going to be. And then the second thing you want to watch for is these storm congeals, merging together. That's a good thing. It doesn't mean that, you wouldn't have, high winds, smaller hail. I mean, there's stormy weather, that's for sure. But again, it's nothing like an intense isolated supercell that you would see. So what we want to hope for is we're starting to see that a little bit. So we want to hopefully see some fill in there. And then, whoops, let's get rid of that and go this way. And then if we zoom out, we want to see some more fill in. Oh my goodness, don't want to make anybody dizzy. I want to see some fill in there. So what you're going to see overall is you're going to see this. What if I get my drawers right? So you can see this gradually, move this way over time. So it's 5:30 now. What you'll see within the next hour, hour and a half, something like that, is you'll start to see these storms make their way across the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Now, what can we expect? Well, what we can expect, at least the further west you are, the better chance you have for seeing bigger hail. I'm not going to sit here and say large hail, but the better chance you have to see some bigger hail. And then as you go further east, hopefully, now again, is this the storms, do what we want them to do and behave themselves to say, hey, if they can just merge together. Nobody wants 60, 70, 80 mile an hour wind gust. And that's definitely a possibility. But we just got to pick our poison, I guess. So the bottom line is this. The western part of the Metroplex is just starting to see these storms, especially the western part of Denton County. Tarrant County is going to start to fill in, I think, pretty soon, and then the storm south of Tarrant County near Glen Rose and point south of this going to fill in, and everything's going to move east. So again, we don't want the isolated supercells, and they are starting to merge. So that's good, and so that's what we want to see. So I would say if you are in McKinney, Allen, Plano, Dallas, and then of course further our neck of the woods, Saxe, Wiley, Garland, I think you'd probably start to see something again on its current track, probably more like 6:30ish, 7ish, maybe a little bit after that. So that's when you want to kind of watch out for the storms. So on a programming note, for those of y'all who know, I do serve on the Saxe City Council, and we are fortunate because we have a meeting tonight. Yay! So I do have to go to my council meeting. So I will be semi offline. Won't be able to do the live updates like this, but I will keep track of it and do the best I can, especially if it's something that's really bad. I'll do my best to keep you updated. It would be more of the text variety, but just want to let you know that I will be at my city council meeting tonight, and I won't be able to do these live updates. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come on and do it now, just to kind of give everybody an idea. So let me leave you with this. Mother Nature is pretty unpredictable, as we know, and so it's one of those things to where, like today, when we started today this morning, we were kind of thinking, maybe just have a slight chance of severe storms, but then the front slowed down, and then it allowed the atmosphere to become more unstable, and that's why we got what we got now. Now, having said that, we thought, okay, well, these storms are going to be isolated at first, and they have been, but even those isolated storms haven't been horrible. So that's good. Now, the thing is, obviously, things could go haywire pretty quick. So we're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination. But so far, it looks like things are kind of going the way we want to. We have a little bit of spin in the atmosphere. We don't have a ton of spin. So that's good, but we got some, so we definitely got to watch it. And then, like I said, I think it's 6:30, 7 o'clock time frame comes along. I think we'll see more of the stormy weather, and hopefully be more of the guard variety stormy weather than it would be the really nasty stuff. But we got to watch it, and I'll definitely be watching it the best I can between now and 7:30. Once my meeting's over, which who knows, I bet you Colleen can know about that. However long that lasts, I'll definitely, if warranted, I'll come back on and do some updates. Hopefully, I won't need to. Hopefully, it'll just be like, hey, we escaped the worst of it. But we don't. Unfortunately, we're just way too early in the game to know that. So here's what I'll leave you with. Like I said, just anything you can do to protect your property between now and then, I would do it. It doesn't mean that your property is going to be destroyed if you don't. It's just that, just if you can do it. If that means putting your car in the garage, okay, great. If you can, I would definitely do it. It's just one of those things that, just don't panic. There's nothing to panic about. Not that anybody's panicking. I'm just saying that it's just one of those things that you just want to be aware and and if the worst case scenario happens, and just know where you're going to go. If you wherever your safe room in your house is. I'm not saying that you would have to worry about that, but just you always want to keep that in mind because, like I said, Mother Nature is very unpredictable. So you just got to keep that in mind. So hopefully, when the storms come through your area, it'll be stormy, and that'll be it. And hopefully, you know what I mean by that. All right. So before I sign off, let me go back to the zoomed in radar here, and let's just check on these storms real quick and see what they're doing. All right. So this storm down near, let's see, southwest of Fort Worth. Oh, it's got a little bit of I say hook, not really defined hook, but let's check out the velocity on this one. Well, okay, it's not great, but it's not horrible either. You are starting to see. Let me put my drawing tool here. Nothing tight or anything, but just want to watch that right there. Nothing to be terribly alarmed about yet, just something to watch. Let's check on the hail potential with this particular storm. Yeah, nothing going on there yet, so that's good. So just real broad rotation, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. Just let's put that storm in motion and see what we got once we put that in motion. And yay, I have a lot of bandwidth going on apparently. I promise it's going to go in. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look at this storm real quick. Yeah, nothing. Okay, I'm not terribly concerned about that one yet, but definitely bears watching, that's for sure. All right, so let's move on up here. Got some line fill there. Another similar type signature here, so let's go to the velocity on this one. And let's go back to reflect. Well, you know what? Let's do the dual pane. Let's do that. And that might be better. We don't want that, although that does have a little hail in it. Let's put that one on velocity, and we'll put this one on reflectivity. Well, again, just a little broad rotation right here. So this is definitely something we want to watch. Again, nothing to be terribly concerned about, but just again, that again, that's why there's a tornado watch. That's why it's something that you just got to pay attention to because they can spin up pretty quickly. All right, so let's go back to single pane here. Let's broaden out a little bit. Okay, nothing much going. No warnings on those storms up near Whitesboro and Munster, so that's good. And this storm is obviously severe warned west of Denton. That's the one that had golf ball size hail. Haven't seen an update on that one yet, so that may be hopefully that's winding down. And on this particular warning, same thing, had golf ball size hail at one time. That was updated just to actually it's been a little while since I've been updated, so I haven't seen anything else. All right, so let's go back to all right, so let's go back to the storm and do the dual pane here. Well, let's see. Okay, still nothing terribly defined on that one, so that's good. But that's definitely one you want to watch. Okay, so, and again, here is the issue. Let me broaden this out. Because again, okay, so in relation to the storms in general, it's by itself still. So again, that's something that we want to that bears watching. And so let's put this in motion here and just kind of make sure this one doesn't do anything crazy. And I'll say, come on, bandwidth. All right, so we put that in motion, and yeah, I mean, it does it's wanting to start to misbehave a little bit. Let's see here. Let's put the bigger picture. Okay, so if you put the storm track on there, so again, this is one that has the biggest hail size, 1 3/4 inches. That's golf ball size hail. And then, of course, if you look at the storm track, it would be just east of downtown Fort Worth, about 6:30. So that's again something the bear watching, the bears watching, I should say, on that one. So um, anyway, okay. Well, I do have to sign off because I do have to get ready for my council meeting. But like I said, I'll watch it the best I can. Like I said, it's just the beginning. But again, there's nothing to be overly concerned about. Could any one of these storms ultimately have a tornado warning on them? It's most definite yes, it could, but hopefully they won't. I'm just looking here to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't see anything yet, so hopefully it'll stay that way. Okay, so like I said, so I will do my darndest to update everyone. Most likely, closer to 6:37. The best I can. Like I said, I'll be in a meeting, so if you don't hear anything from me, it's not because I'm ignoring you and all of a sudden I didn't care. It's just that you know, I just have a meeting to go to. So, anyway, well, as always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Everyone stay safe, and like I said, just be aware of the weather in your area. Just like I said, don't get terribly over concerned about it. But if the worst thing happens, then just like I said, just know where to go, and you'll be fine. And like I said, I'll keep you updated the best I can. As always, I'm watching the weather, so you don't have to. Hope everyone has a safe evening, and we will talk to you soon.